Hello everybody, my name is Skybound.
Star Flux,
and today
we're here. And today, well, oh by the way, just plugging Griffin Isles. Yes, it was last week, but how can I not? Because I was basically volunteering there.
Anyway, we've just finished watching My Little Pony Season 8, Episode 11. Again, I don't actually have the subtitle for this episode, but that doesn't matter
because it's basically Red Bull. It's basically My Little Pony Red Bull edition, because basically Spike got his wings, but
yeah. Anyway, yeah. So in this episode, Spike gets his wings, and if that's a spoiler to you, well, I'm
sorry.
Why
the hell are you watching the review?
Yeah, essentially.
We basically need a great big spoiler warning thing at the beginning of this thing, I think.
Yeah, we probably should do that. But anyway, as usual, our reactions down there in the description.
And boy, was it a reaction!
And in case you haven't noticed by now, just going to get this out of the way. You may have noticed we've got into a bit of a pattern now. So on Saturdays, well, not on Saturdays, sorry, on Sundays, where possible, we are putting out fresh MLP episode reactions and reviews. And on Wednesdays, we're doing episodes of Boku no Hero Academia, because we're watching that from the very beginning, completely blind. So, if that is something that interests you, keep an eye out for those videos as well, and, check them out as well, because it's this same format. Just plugging our own videos there.
Yeah, well, the thing is, also, we should mention that we won't be doing an episode next week, because our MLP schedule is all over the place, because last week I was basically at a new UK brony convention called Griffin Isles, which I'm currently wearing this shirt to the volunteer people because I was volunteering there. And yeah, so basically he's going to be somewhere else next weekend.
So essentially we've watched 2 episodes this weekend, which we're going to be dropping on the Monday, both at the same time. And then we've also got an episode of Boku no Hero Academia coming up on Wednesday, and then also the next Wednesday we are having another episode of Boku no Hero Academia. One thing to say, next week I won't actually be here, I will be in Poland, so I won't be able to record the next episode of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, episode 12. So that won't be coming out immediately, that will be delayed again, unfortunately. But I am going to schedule the release of Boku no Hero.
I may try and see if we can get someone else to record it with, but we may just not leave, because we're still working out this new format, and we're only just getting into it, and don't want to introduce anyone else into this format before we basically nailed out all the bugs in it, essentially.
Anyway, the episode, now that we've got those announcements out of the way. Yeah. So the episode was actually really good, and it was a big episode for Spike.
Oh my god, this episode was...
Yeah.
It's one of those episodes... sorry, I can't wait to talk about it. Sorry, you go first. Yeah, I forget.
Yeah, okay.
This is what I mean by bugs, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, if you can't wait to talk about it, I can. So why don't you just take the lead?
No. I want to let you go first, because you'll have to use it.
No, you hang up first. No, okay.
That was last episode.
Anyway, let's just do this. So anyway, this episode was actually really, really interesting, and it's one of the few Spike episodes that I actually really enjoyed. So it takes the form of Spike going through some kind of weird dragon puberty. Essentially this whole your body goes through changes, and that's a sign that you're growing up. It's a very sort of typical lesson that kids will eventually learn, whether it be in school or just in programming in general. Like, we all know at this point what puberty is. I expect most of our viewers have been through it and know exactly how bad it can be. So yeah, Spike was essentially going through that. And it was actually really interesting in that, he was shown to be quite ashamed of what was happening to him, but most of the other people around him didn't really care all that much. They were just like, yeah, it's just a thing, like, don't even worry about it. And that is actually very kind of, it's very reminiscent of the feelings that you had as like a teenager, where like you thought that everyone was kind of paying attention to you, and these like flaws like acne and voice breaking and all this sort of stuff. It's the kind of stuff where you start to get self-conscious about that kind of thing. And I like how it did sort of demonstrate Spike feeling like that, even though for the most part, no one really minded. There were certain things like, obviously, some of the side effects, like the smell, was picked up on, but yeah, I mean, things like that. It's just generally kind of like growing up into like an adult kind of has this sucky transition period called puberty, and you can't avoid it. But you know, at the end of it, you get something cool. In the case of humans, of course, it's adulthood.
I wouldn't say that's cool.
Okay, yeah, that's probably the least cool.
It's the least cool thing ever.
Honestly,
adulting is the worst thing ever.
Can I just get wings instead of being an adult, please?
Yes, I would more than willing. More than willing, accept the wings over adulting. Thank you very much.
But yes, essentially yes. Spike goes through puberty and he gets wings, which is huge, which is absolutely huge. I also don't know if the whole rock attack thing is a subtle reference to the fact that teenagers like to sit in their room and listen to rock music all day, or was that might just be me?
You never stopped listening to rock.
I never stopped listening to rock. I want a rock. I don't want a giant bird though. Fuck that. No. I don't want that kind of rock. I want this kind of rock. But anyway, I digress. Again, it was actually a really enjoyable episode, and definitely a big episode for Spike, which is nice because Spike hasn't really had all that many big episodes. I mean, he saved the Crystal Kingdom once, that was pretty cool, I guess. But apart from that, most of his episodes have been him being comedic relief. So it's nice to see him actually
being bloody useless.
Yeah, it's also quite nice to actually just see him kind of ascending. He has become MA Larson, just like Twilight, you know, which is great. So yeah, I really enjoyed this episode actually, and now I'm going to hand it over to Starlight because that's all I have to say.
Okay, the first thing I will say is I think this is actually okay. When the CMC episode happened, I was saying that was probably one of the last few things that happened. That was like the most momentum sort of milestones. And I did say, with the possible exception of Scootaloo flying, which we thought would never happen, and Spike getting his wings. I was not sure when this episode was coming up. This kind of came out of nowhere.
To be honest, the CMC one did as well, didn't it?
Yeah, the CMC one did, and I kind of had an inkling that that was going to be a big episode as well, and, you know, it was, yeah, that's the complicated story I'll explain another day if we ever review that episode in this, you know, at one point. But anyway, long story short, this is an episode that, yeah, I kind of wanted to have another big sort of milestone episode again, and I wanted it to be one where we had absolutely, you know, it coming out of nowhere basically, like the one. And I think this is getting to the point now where the show really can't, I'm not saying it can't surprise us, but all the big milestones now are actually gone. Like, I think this was the last big milestone, but what the hell of a way to go and do it though, because this episode was genuinely interesting, and at the moment I saw that he was basically going through having spots and basically, you know, being tired in the flipping bedroom, it was like, oh my god, this is such an analogy for basically going off through teenage years. And as soon as I saw that, I thought, this is going to be the episode he gets his wings, isn't it? It just seemed like that sort of thing, and there was clues to the CMC one, which kind of led me on to that sort of thing beforehand anyway. You know, even though it wasn't full spoilers. But this sort of thing, I kind of saw it sort of coming, but I was still interested in how they were going to go about doing it. And I kind of saw as soon as The Rock came along, then it was like, yeah, I can see how this is going to happen, but I'm perfectly okay with it, because this sort of episode, it was a very good episode. It was very well executed. It was, you know, there's been worse episodes in this season, if I'm honest. but this one was definitely not one of them. This was it. Yeah, it's going through all the sort of things that, you know, would probably eventually realise. I mean, when, you know, going through puberty, and I suppose in some regards this kind of fits in with how some of the people, you know, some of the kids who would be watching this show at the beginning, if they were still watching it now, they may be coming up to that sort of age. So it kind of makes sense for them to be, well...
Yeah, it came out in, it started in 2010, didn't it?
It started in
2018, so if we take the average age being about, you know, 6 years old or something, we're looking about, those people would be 13, 14 years old now, which is pretty much puberty age.
Yeah, so in other words, it kind of makes sense that they would be covering such a thing. But, you know, it's one of those things that, yeah, I can't really think of anything else to say because all of the execution... I can't really say anything other than it was a really good flipping episode, and as you would want a milestone episode to be, although I wouldn't be surprised if there'd be a few references thrown around in the offices of X about, oh, MA Larson has been doing his magic again. I mean, that did not, you know, as that was like, yeah.
Insert clip of MA Larson just counting his money.
Yeah. That can be done in post. That can be done in post. But yeah, I'm sure I'll think of hundreds of different things I could add to this episode. But at the moment, I can't really think of anything else to say. But I don't want that to be because I think the episode was boring or predictable. Even though I could see where it was going, I was still wondering how the hell it was going to get there. You know, and yeah, it was... I don't know. I don't even know what to say about it other than it was a good episode, so I'll just say yeah.
Overall, I rate this 9 stone scales on a molting dragon. You did not see a jump cut there. No mistaking.
You've just drawn attention to it, so people will now go back and actually see if they can spot the moment.
They'll see it.
You know, we're not gonna swap over, are we?
No.
To see if we can do that.
No. Anyway.
Yeah.
As always.
Yeah. Hang on. I haven't given my flipping review yet. Although to be.
You've not given your score. You've given your review.
Oh well, yeah. Okay. Give me my review, but I haven't given me a score. And I would say 9 as well. I think, no doubt about it, I don't know how it could... I mean, I'm sure there's ways it could be potentially better, but I can't think of any off the top of my head. I have no quarrels about that episode at all. I don't think they could have done it any other way.
So yeah, praise be for one of the very, very few good Spike episodes.
Yes, that's a good thing I will say. We finally have we have a very few good Spike episodes, but this was definitely
probably one of the best Spike episodes.
Yes, hands down the best Spike episode.
Anyway, I think that's everything really we've got to say. So we hope you enjoyed the video as usual. Hope you enjoy our reaction again. Click on the link in the description if you want to watch that.
And we'll probably see you in a couple of weeks'
We'll
time.
see you
in
next time.
Hopefully after that we won't have another instance of this. Although no, there is a Robot Wars event that I'm going to be going to in another 1 week. Hopefully it will line up. Yeah.
We've got a lot of stuff planned. We're very busy nowadays.
We're very busy because it's coming to... It's basically summer over here, and, well, summer is generally when we do all of this stuff, and, yeah, long story short...
You don't need to hear about our lives, do you?
You don't. And you're not interested in vlog stuff. If you are, put a comment down below.
God, no, I'm not getting into the habit of recording a vlog of me just going, oh, I'm on my way to work today. Oh. Intro of darkness and redness and whiteness. No, hold on, that's stealing from another YouTuber. Please don't hurt me, Tobuscus. Anyway, with that said, I don't even know what I'm talking about anymore.
Neither do I.
Let's just end this video here. As usual, my name is Skybound.
Starlight Flux.
And we will see you all next time. Goodbye.